Welcome back to my online video tutorial series. Today's topic is isometric projection. Isometric projection. Very interesting topic. At the end of this video, you should be able to define isometric projection. You should also be able to identify tools used to draw isometric views and isometric blocks. You should also be able to identify isometric planes and angles. You should also be able to apply the principles of isometric to draw blocks. You should be able to use compass, set square to draw isometric blocks if you don't have a t-square or a set square. What's an isometric projection? An isometric projection is a way of representing a drawing or a design in 3D, wherein we have a top view, a right view, and a left view. Isometric planes. Isometric planes are radiating lines that are drawn at 30 degrees to the horizontal line. Radiating lines. What are radiating lines? Radiating lines are lines that originate from a point and progresses outward, in most cases at an angle. Some useful tips. Tip number 1. Always draw isometric plane at 30 degrees to the horizontal line. Tip number 2. Always draw your horizontal and your vertical datum lines first. Next tip. Always use a t-square to support your set square when drawing isometric lines. Tip number 4. When drawing lines along the isometric plane, use random length line. In cases like these where we want to draw this block, let's draw a random length line random length line, random length line. After you have done, you mark off what you want. Tip number 5. Lines on the isoplanes are always parallel. As you can see, first iso line is also parallel to this, parallel to that. So all these right isoplane lines are parallel. In like manner, the left isoplane lines are also parallel. The vertical lines, they're all parallel once they're in the isometric plane. There are cases where lines are drawn within the isometric planes. In cases like those, you plot those points. Tip number 6. Before you start a drawing, always calculate the total length, width, and height. In cases like these, always here, the longer side in this case would have been our length. So we always calculate our total length. We place a dot. Total width on this side, place a dot. Total height, place a dot right there. Okay, here we have a more simplified diagram of isometric projection. Here we have one radiating line, which is at 30 degrees. Here, this would be the right isoplane. On this side we have our second or our left isometric plane. Again, this line is radiating at a 30-degree angle to the horizontal, and we have our vertical plane. Again, before we start a drawing, we must first establish our right isoplane, left isoplane, and our vertical plane. First, well, that would have been the second step, once after you have established your datum line. Next step would be to mark off your length on the right plane, length on the left plane, and your total height. It's always good to mark off your total length, width, and height before we start cutting out any section. It makes drawing very simple. Okay, I will be drawing an isometric block. To draw an isometric block of dimension 70 length width 30 and height 20. First step is to use your T-square to draw a horizontal line. Next step is to use your T-square along with your set square to draw a vertical line. Next step is to draw our radiating line. In this case, we're using our 60-30 set square to draw on the right hand side first, the right isoplane. Slide my set square down to the point. Draw a random length line. Next, I'm going to flip my set square to the left. Then I'm going to draw my left isometric plane. Care should be taken to ensure that the T-square is properly aligned with the edge of your drawing board. Next step is to mark off your dimensions, the overall dimensions. On the right plane, we have 70 millimeters. Here is my 70 millimeter mark. On my left isoplane, 30 millimeters. Mark that point. On my vertical plane, we have 20 millimeters. We always mark off our height on the center line. Here is where we generate our height from. Here. So even though that dimension is out here, we mark off the distance on this line, 20 millimeters. Now that we have determined our length, width, and overall height, our next step is to use our set square along with our T-square to draw our radiating lines. Next, I align my T-square along the left edge of my drawing table. Next, I place my set square on top. And I'll be drawing a random length vertical line here. As you can see, this line is vertical. It's also parallel with this line. Next step, I'm sliding my set square out to the point for the height. Draw that line. Next, rotate my set square. Be careful to ensure that my T-square is properly aligned with the edge of my drawing board. I slide my set square out to the marked point. Draw a random length line upward. Next, I rotate my set square to draw my second radiating line on the left plane. Always being careful to ensure that my T-square is properly aligned with the edge of my paper. Now, once I've done that, at the point where this radiating line meets here, we're going to use that point as center to draw our left radiating line. So I slide this out somewhere to that point. Draw. Next, I rotate. And again, I slide my set square to the point where the top radiating line meets the vertical line. Slide my set square out to that point. Draw that line. And that's it. Once everything is okay, the next step is to go through and brighten up your figure. We could add some more to this. We could actually cut out a section of this. We could do that. How about cutting out a little notch inside here? Yes, let's do that. To do that, we determine how far on this line you want it to be. So we want it to be here, to here. Want a notch, a little piece like this to be removed. Yeah. Want to remove that section. Okay. So first we determine this distance and that distance. Let this be here. Next step is to use my t-square and my set square. What I'll need, well, I'll estimate the distance inward. Use my t-square and my set square, and please note that this line should be, these points should be in the left plane. Left plane, left plane. Alright? So there's some consistency here. We need to ensure that all lines that are in the left plane are parallel. All lines on the right plane are parallel. All lines on the top plane are also parallel. We have right plane, left plane, and also at the top. So again, I'm going to slide my set square down to the point. Draw my first line. Slide my set square down to this point. I want the depth to be there. Slide my set square in. Have that. Next, I'm going to rotate my set square to draw the vertical line here, vertically downward. Slide and slide. At this point, we have a line going in. So again, we draw a random length line in. And we have a corner here. We draw this corner down. Then we draw this out. Present that. So there's some. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and brighten up to distinguish between your construction lines and your outlines. So here we have a complete drawing for the dimension. It's important to note when dimensioning that your extension line should not touch the drawing. There should be a gap of minimum 3 millimeters. Next thing, we always use shaded arrows when dimensioning. So your dimension line should have 2 shaded arrows at each end. Additionally, your dimension line must touch the extension line. Third thing, your extension line should be in the same plane as the side being dimensioned. Exact same plane. Thank you for watching.